Why didn't Jake Tapper write this a year ago? Because he knows what would have happened. Somebody in the White House would have called up and said, Tapper, no one from CNN is going to get a seat at a press conference. There's not going to be any CNN interviews. So he backed down. And now, in a very cowardly fashion, now he comes out and he is blaming the White House cover-up. No one was more instrumental in berating, maybe Joe Scarborough, but other than he, Jake Tapper tore apart anybody who suggested that Joe Biden was as cognitive in decline as they saw with their own eyes and heard.
That's conservative commentator Victor Davis Hanson absolutely laying into CNN's Jake Tapper for acting like he's breaking news, when really he's just admitting what the rest of us already knew about Joe Biden, because that's apparently what passes for bravery in the media, helping hide the truth, then cashing in once it's safe. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Victor Davis Hanson has had enough of the games coming from establishment media, because when Jake Tapper releases a book exposing the cover-up that Biden's been mentally declining for years, Hanson proves the real story isn't the supposed revelation. It's the cover-up they all took part in. You know, for people who scream about disinformation nonstop, these establishment media hacks sure do a lot of it. Here's Hanson going straight at Tapper and everyone involved in this pathetic scam.
But what he doesn't tell us is the White House cover-up would have been impossible had not CNN, MSNBC, PBS, NBC, ABC, CBS all conspired with the White House staff to downplay, not just downplay Biden's cognitive decline, but attack people. Bottom line, they had more interest in protecting this left-wing administration who was using this waxen effigy of Joe Biden for someone's purposes. We don't know who was running the country. We don't have no idea who those people are. We have a suspicion it was the Obama crowd. They did not care about that. All they knew is that this was a left-wing agenda and it had to be preserved by any means necessary. And now he wants to say, what? I have a little humility. I may or not. I sort of kind of was part of the cover-up, but now the real Jake Tapper is in this book who's now telling truth to power. No, you're telling truth to impotence. Joe Biden has got cancer. He's written off. He's in decline. The family is disgraced. It's easy now to write about that. It was hard and would require intellectual courage, moral fortitude to say this when he was the most powerful man in the world. And so, Jake Tapper, you failed that test because this is one of the greatest acts of duplicity, moral duplicity I've seen in my entire life. And it joins a long list of collusion, capers, conspiracy, bogus, frauds, ruses. Jake Tapper, you should go back and see what was your position on Russian collusion? What was your position on Hunter laptop disinformation? What was your position on the Steele dossier? What was your position on the 51 intelligence authorities? And I think in every one of those cases, you failed the test of truth, and you really did this time in the greatest cover-up in the history, as I said, of the American presidency, and it's not over yet.
You know, Jake Tapper wasn't some passive bystander during the Biden cognitive decline saga. He was the media's frontman, tearing into anyone who even hinted Biden might not be all there. Just ask Laura Trump. And it wasn't just Tapper. These establishment media hacks knew exactly what they were doing while they were doing it. They fed the public a fairy tale, crushed dissent, and now that the decline can't be ignored, they suddenly pretend to care about transparency. Tapper's book isn't a confession, it's a PR stunt with a politically motivated purpose beyond covering his own rear. Here's Tapper pretending it's all about honesty right before pivoting to what this was always about, going after Trump.
Interesting. How has writing this important book, investigating the Biden presidency, Jake, informed you about how to cover the current president?
Well, I just think in general, not Trump specific, but in general, I think that the press corps, and I'm certainly including myself, needs to worry less about politeness when it comes to these health issues, and needs to be even more aggressive when it comes to demanding transparency on health issues when it comes to the president. President Trump, while he appears healthy, he has not been transparent about his health records. And I think that that's something that the American people have a right to.
This applies to Donald Trump, too, and every future president. Donald Trump has released like nothing about his health.
Right.
And while there aren't the questions of acuity, there are certainly questions about his health.
Yeah.
And we can't have this as a country. We have such a powerful executive branch, and at this stage, such an unco-equal legislative branch, and such weak political parties.
But to your point, this book goes beyond Joe Biden. There is a call in this country, in the United States, there is a need for legislation to mandate that American presidents provide all of their health information under threat of perjury, because we can't be lied to about this sort of thing. We can't have a group of unelected aides running the country if there's a 2 a.m. phone call. It needs to be the person that's elected. So this goes beyond Joe Biden. It should be relevant to Donald Trump and whoever comes after Donald Trump. I agree with that 100%.
I mean, call me crazy, but it's a little funny how Tapper performatively says it's about transparency, then pivots directly to Trump's health. Because that's what the book was really for. Not to hold Biden accountable, not to come clean. It's a blueprint for legacy media to rewrite history, pretend they were on your side, and use that manufactured credibility to launch a fresh round of attacks on Trump. Just like how they dismissed every complaint about Biden's age and health when he was running, then immediately pivoted to calling Trump the oldest person to run for office and questioning his fitness once they replaced Biden with Harris. This isn't about health, it's about restoring media power. Tapper's getting wall-to-wall coverage not because he's brave, but because he's giving Democrats a new talking point to distract everyone with. That way they don't have to answer for 4 years of gaslighting the country. But let me know what you think. Is Jake Tapper trying to expose the truth or just save his own reputation while paving the way for a new smear campaign on Trump? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.